Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoyevsky, a titan of Russian literature, entered the world on November 11, 1821, in Moscow. Born into a time of great change and turmoil, his early years were shaped by the vibrant yet tumultuous atmosphere of the Russian capital. His birthplace, the bustling metropolis of Tsarist Russia, would later serve as a backdrop for his evocative novels. The streets of Moscow, with their mix of grandeur and decay, left an indelible mark on his young mind, providing a rich tapestry of experiences that would fuel his literary imagination. Dostoevsky's family, though of noble lineage, faced financial constraints. Despite their noble status, the family lived modestly, navigating the complexities of maintaining their social standing while grappling with economic challenges. This duality of privilege and hardship would deeply influence Dostoevsky's worldview. His father, a doctor, instilled in him a deep sense of Russian tradition and Orthodox faith. The elder Dostoevsky's profession brought a certain respectability, but it also exposed young Fyodor to the stark realities of human suffering and the fragility of life. These early encounters with illness and mortality would later permeate his literary works. Young Fyodor's childhood was marked by a love for literature, nurtured by his mother's bedtime stories and his own voracious reading. His mother, a gentle and nurturing presence, introduced him to the world of fairy tales and classical literature, sparking a lifelong passion for storytelling. Dostoevsky's early education took place at a Moscow boarding school. The structured environment of the school provided him with a solid foundation in the classics, while also exposing him to the rigors of academic discipline. It was here that he began to hone his skills in literature and languages. He excelled in literature and languages, displaying a precocious talent for storytelling. His teachers recognized his potential, often praising his insightful essays and imaginative compositions. This early recognition bolstered his confidence and fueled his ambition to become a writer. His youthful imagination was captivated by the works of Russian literary giants like Pushkin and Gogol. These authors, with their rich narratives and complex characters, provided a template for Dostoevsky's own literary aspirations. He devoured their works, absorbing their techniques and themes, as well as European masters such as Shakespeare and Schiller. The universal themes explored by these writers, love, power, betrayal and redemption, resonated deeply with Dostoevsky, broadening his literary horizons and enriching his narrative style. These early influences would later shape his own literary style, characterized by psychological depth and philosophical inquiry. Dostoevsky's works would come to reflect a profound understanding of the human condition, exploring the darkest corners of the human psyche and the complexities of moral dilemmas. However, Dostoevsky's sheltered upbringing stood in stark contrast to the harsh realities that awaited him. The protective cocoon of his childhood would soon be shattered by personal tragedies and societal upheavals, forcing him to confront the brutal truths of life. The seeds of his literary genius were sown in the fertile ground of a childhood marked by both privilege and hardship. This unique blend of experiences provided him with a deep well of material to draw from, allowing him to create characters and stories that resonated with authenticity and emotional depth, setting the stage for a life of extraordinary creativity and profound suffering. As he grew older, Dostoevsky's experiences would continue to shape his writing, imbuing his novels with a raw intensity and a relentless quest for truth. His journey from a privileged yet challenging childhood to becoming one of the most influential writers in history is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the transformative potential of literature. At the tender age of 18, Dostoevsky experienced a tragedy that would irrevocably alter the course of his life. This was not just any ordinary loss, it was a brutal, violent event that would leave an indelible scar on his soul. His father, Mikhail, was brutally murdered by his own serfs. The serfs, who had long been oppressed and mistreated, finally reached a breaking point. Their pent-up anger and frustration culminated in a violent act of rebellion. The circumstances surrounding the murder remained shrouded in mystery, fueling rumors and speculation that haunted the young Fyodor. Whispers of conspiracy and betrayal filled the air, making it difficult for Dostoyevsky to find any sense of closure. This traumatic event left an indelible mark on his psyche, profoundly shaping his worldview and literary output. The young Dostoyevsky found himself grappling with a myriad of emotions: anger, sorrow, confusion, and a deep sense of injustice. The loss of his father plunged Dostoyevsky into a state of deep grief and existential crisis. He found himself questioning the very nature of existence, the purpose of life, and the role of suffering in the human experience. He grappled with questions of injustice, guilt, and the nature of good and evil. These were not just abstract philosophical questions for Dostoyevsky. They were deeply personal and urgent, demanding answers that he felt compelled to seek. The experience exposed him to the darkest recesses of the human soul, themes that would later dominate his writing. He began to explore the complexities of human nature, the capacity for both good and evil that resides within each individual. The murder also shattered his faith in authority and social order, leading him to question the very foundations of Russian society. He became increasingly disillusioned with the institutions that were supposed to uphold justice and protect the vulnerable. This period of intense emotional turmoil marked a turning point in Dostoyevsky's life. It was a time of profound introspection and soul-searching, as he sought to make sense of the chaos and suffering that had engulfed his world. It was as if the murder had ripped open a veil, revealing to him the raw, unvarnished truth of human existence. He saw the world in a new light, one that was both terrifying and enlightening. The experience would fuel his creative fire, driving him to explore the depths of human suffering and the complexities of the human condition in his literary works. His novels would go on to delve into the darkest corners of the human psyche, offering profound insights into the nature of good and evil, love and hate, hope and despair. Dostoyevsky's writings became a mirror reflecting the tumultuous times he lived in, capturing the essence of the human struggle in a rapidly changing world. His works resonated with readers across generations, offering a timeless exploration of the human condition. The murder of his father was not just a personal tragedy for Dostoyevsky. It was a catalyst that propelled him into a lifelong quest for understanding and meaning. It shaped his identity as a writer and thinker, leaving an indelible mark on his soul and his work. In the end, the tragedy that shook his soul became the foundation upon which he built his literary legacy. Through his words, Dostoyevsky sought to make sense of the senseless, to find light in the darkness, and to offer a glimpse of hope amidst the despair. Despite his burgeoning literary interests, Dostoyevsky initially pursued a career in engineering. This path was not one he chose out of passion, but rather out of a sense of duty and obligation to his family. His father, a stern and pragmatic man, believed that a career in engineering would provide Fyodor with the stability and respectability that a literary career could not. He enrolled in the prestigious St. Petersburg Institute of Engineering, fulfilling his father's wish for him to secure a stable profession. The institute was renowned for its rigorous curriculum and high standards, attracting some of the brightest minds of the era. Dostoyevsky, however, found little joy in the technical and mechanical studies that dominated his coursework. However, his heart was never truly in it. The world of numbers and equations felt cold and lifeless compared to the vibrant and emotional landscapes he encountered in literature. He often found himself daydreaming during lectures, his mind wandering to the stories and characters that had captured his imagination. While his classmates immersed themselves in mathematics and mechanics, Dostoyevsky found himself increasingly drawn to the world of literature. He would sneak away to read novels and poetry, finding solace and inspiration in the written word. His dorm room, once filled with engineering textbooks, gradually became a sanctuary for his growing collection of literary works. He devoured the works of European romantic writers like Hugo, whose tales of love, revolution, and human struggle resonated deeply with him. Byron, with his brooding heroes and exploration of the darker aspects of the human psyche, and Balzac, with his keen observations of society and human nature, also captivated Dostoyevsky's imagination. He was captivated by their exploration of individualism, passion, and social alienation. These themes spoke to his own sense of isolation and his burgeoning philosophical ideas about the human condition. These themes resonated deeply with his own experiences and burgeoning philosophical ideas. He began to see the world through a different lens, one that was shaped by the profound and often tragic insights of the romantic writers he so admired. He began to neglect his engineering studies, spending his days and nights writing, attending literary salons, and immersing himself in the vibrant intellectual life of St. Petersburg. His passion for literature consumed him, and he found himself increasingly at odds with the expectations placed upon him by his family and society. He engaged in passionate debates about art, politics, and the human condition, finding kindred spirits among the city's literary and intellectual circles. These discussions further fueled his desire to write and to explore the depths of the human soul through his work. The pull of literature proved too strong to resist. Despite the risks and the uncertainty of a literary career, Dostoyevsky knew that he could not continue on the path that had been laid out for him. His heart and soul belonged to the world of words and ideas. In a bold move that shocked his family and professors, Dostoyevsky abandoned his engineering studies to pursue his true calling as a writer. This decision was not made lightly, and it came with significant sacrifices and challenges. He faced financial instability, social disapproval, and the daunting task of establishing himself in the literary world. This decision, though risky, marked the beginning of his extraordinary literary journey. He poured his heart and soul into his writing, drawing from his own experiences and the rich tapestry of human emotions and struggles that he had come to understand so deeply. One that would see him rise to become one of the most influential novelists of all time. His works, filled with psychological depth and moral complexity, continue to resonate with readers around the world, cementing his legacy as a literary giant.